This is Investment Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Daily live streaming interactive featuring Mrs. Backup. Subscribe, hit the notification, smash the likes. Now, here's Backup Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to Investment Perspectives, everybody. I'm Brad Kimes. You can follow me on Twitter at Backup Bradley above on the screen. Okay, before we get started, I have to give a very, very big and happy shout out to all the fathers out here and wish them a happy Father's Day. I hope you guys are enjoying your day with you and your family. I know I've been touched by mine already, and it's going to be a wonderful day. It already is. So I wanted to break something down. I've been doing some digging on confidential IPOs. I had no idea that this was even a thing. And this is the beautiful part about this channel and all of us working together is that I never stop learning, and it's one of the things that I love about life is that it never stops. The learning never stops. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this thing. I started today by pulling up this old video title and thumbnail. Ripple, a blockchain infrastructure company, XRP digital asset for the framework of the digital asset space. Looks more and more like that's actually dead on the money. I mean, now we're talking about having a conversation that has been spurred by Christian Carlo and his partner to help him write the paper on XRP not only not being a security, but being a currency. Huge implications there, and they're all positive. In my eyes at least. But let's stick today, for this video, let's stick today to the confidential IPO. Okay, so first of all, confidential IPO was first introduced in 2012 as a part of the Jumpstart Our Business Startups Jobs Act as a way to support small companies in their efforts to go public. It allowed any company with revenues of $1 billion or less, to file an S-1 with the Securities Exchange Commission, but confidentially. Now, it's important. Now, just to touch on this for a second, an IPO in general, for anybody watching the video, and if you already know what it is, just let me give you this small definition here of what an IPO actually is. So an IPO is the first time a company lists its shares on a stock exchange such as NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange, meaning they are for sale to the general public. When the company wants to open a new stores, build a factory, hire more employees, or expand in some other way, it may need additional resources to pay for those things. Company executives may use an IPO to raise additional capital to invest in or grow their business. But when a company decides to go public, it must file something called an S-1, which you've heard us talk about here on the channel with the Securities Exchange Commission. An S-1 is a public document that details a lot of previously confidential information about the business, including how much revenue the company actually makes, how much debt it has, and whether the company is profitable. It also details how much the various company executives earn in salary and other compensation. Well, here's an interesting thing, because this was on July 10th of 2017. Effective today, any company can file for a confidential IPO, even if the annual revenue is greater than $1 billion. This means the larger companies can now submit and revise financial filings, waiting until a few weeks before the offering to announce it to the public. I'm going to just hit that sentence again, because I find this very compelling. This means that larger companies can now submit and revise financial filings, waiting until a few weeks before the offering to announce it to the public. This is amazing here. So it talks about here okay, now let me read this. When the filing is unveiled, the IPO happens swiftly. Companies are required to unveil their financials at least 15 days before the investor roadshow. and most are timing it exactly. The point of the legislation is to help more companies go public, but some have argued that it can also relieve some of the pressure. There are many companies that file on confidentially, but have not yet gone through the IPO process. Okay, now let's go to this document here, this article. This is really good. So let me just run through this and give you the whole feel of this right here. And in fact, let me just do it from the top. Some of it you'll hear is repeat information, but the whole article makes sense, and I want to give it to you the way it is. So the S1 filing from the SEC used a private company's planning to go public, and it is comprised of business financial information. The S1 offers in-depth first look at a private company, and analyst portfolio managers often use it when making investment decisions. With the signing of the Jobs Act, which we covered, in the emerging growth of companies, it says with less than $1 billion in annual revenue, we're given the ability to file the S1 on a confidential basis. And then in 2017, the SEC changed its rule and now offers every private company the ability to file a confidential S1 form. We expect, if not all, private companies that want to become public to submit their S1 as a confidential filing. Now, this is amazing. It gives them the ability to test the waters, get feedback from the SEC, and there's no media or investor or competitors into the mix while all this is taking place. So that you can see there's huge advantages to why you would want to do a confidential S1 filing. The decision to convert the S1 filing to go public from confidential should not be taken lightly, as it sets off a chain of events. As part of the SEC rule, confidential S1 filing companies must unveil their financials at least 15 days prior to the start of their investor roadshow, allowing potential investors time to review the filing before potential meeting with the company based on recent history of confidential filings. Most companies commence their roadshow the day after the mandatory waiting period. With the switch from a confidential to public S1 filing typically comes an influx of media investor requests, while the company is technically in a quiet period once it hires an investment bank to begin the IPO process. Remaining quiet becomes more difficult once the filing becomes public. Companies should have a plan in place regarding which corporate officers are the official spokesman for the firm, and only these persons should speak for the company. Having a solid communication plan in place can help prevent gun jumping, or in general terms, a violation of communication restrictions. A solid communication plan can prevent the SEC from misconstruing any communication with someone outside the firm as promoting the offering, which could delay or ultimately derail its IPO. Which is interesting because I feel like, there's a lot of things in Ripple's pursuits that, as influencers and content creators out here, we could be helping with, but we widely cover XRP, and maybe that's why we never really get to walk on the same bridge together at this time until they IPO. I don't know, but it sure is a thought. It's something that I've believed for a while, but we have to have them IPO too, so I don't want to get the cart in front of the horse, but it does feel like we're heading to that place. It really does. Filing an S1 with the SEC can be very exciting for a private company, but with this filing comes SEC rules and regulations. Being prepared and partnering with an experienced, knowledgeable investor relations firm can make the difference between the successful and unsuccessful S1 filing and IPO. Okay, so look, not saying this has happened. I'm just saying I think this is amazing because I didn't even know about confidential IPOs. Now, that's my learning curve, and it may be a lot of other people's learning curve out here too. One thing I do know is that we did see not long ago Ashish Birla at Goldman Sachs giving a huge talk. Now, I'm not saying that Goldman Sachs is the investment firm that's going to back the IPO, but I'm saying it would be a firm like it. Could there have been more to the meeting than what we had seen? Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I don't know. One thing I do know is I find this entire process completely interesting, knowing that there could be an S1 filing right now. And I will actually just pull this up for all of us because I check it often anyway. Let me just see here. SE. There we go. So I have notifications set too, but there's nothing here as of yet, and I check it often, probably more than I need to. But it also, at this point, doesn't mean that an S1 hasn't been filed, which I find to be very interesting because it could be done confidentially. And that means they wouldn't have to reveal that to anybody until 15 days before they actually intend to be listed or begin the roadshow. So 15 days prior to the investor roadshow, which usually lasts about 10 days. Matter of fact, I want to pull that up for everybody just really quickly. Let's see. This is usually 2 weeks, and the offering is priced on the last night of the roadshow and begins trading the next day. Okay, so it's usually about 10 days working period, right? This is unbelievable. So I don't know if this has happened or not, but what I do know is I think we're watching the right things, but at the same time, they could potentially have already filed the S1 confidentially and have begun the process to IPO, which may or may not have happened. But what I wanted to really bring attention to is that it's possible. And it's also possible that we don't have to wait the 5 or 6 month period for the prospectus period, because if they did file confidentially, it's already in that period. So it's potential that you'd see about 2 week or 15 days exposure to the public to see all the documents and all the writings, right? And then about another 2 weeks after that for the roadshow, and they would be listed. So you're really talking about a 1 month exposure period, little less, and the company would be listed on probably NASDAQ because it's a blockchain infrastructure company. One thing I do find interesting in all of this is that we're getting even more clarity on what XRP actually is. Now, this isn't from a regulatory body, but a professional opinion from Chris Giancarlo, who we know is a counsel, serves as counsel to Ripple, as well as former CFTC chairman. And in his legal professional opinion, it is a currency. XRP is a currency. Now, I find that to be quite compelling, that it's a decentralized, non-sovereign currency. As we get closer to potentially an IPO at some point, based on Brad Garlinghouse's words. All right. I just wanted to share this information a little bit. I want to get the conversation. I want to get as many eyeballs on this as possible, because look, if I'm able to kick this up, what are we all able to kick up? So make sure you leave a comment below, share any information you find, and let's keep this conversation going. Who knows? Maybe Ripple has already done a confidential IPO. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Hit the like and subscribe. I'll catch you all on the next one. Happy Father's Day.